Hello everyone, I wanted to come in and share Sunday's fascia release and mobility session with you guys. First thing I want to say is that the session will require you to have a lacrosse ball. These are incredible for releasing the fascia. It's not possible to do this work with just stretching alone or with a foam roller, so I would strongly urge you all to order one of these from amazon.co.uk. They're about £3 each. So either a lacrosse ball or a very firm massage ball. This is also a really good bit of kit. This is a foot massage piece of equipment. It's from Trigger Point Therapy, but you can get similar ones again on Amazon. Very good for those of you with particularly lower leg tightness around the shins and the calves, and from double unders and running. So again, that's a really great thing. And if you don't have a foam roller, then it might be a great idea for you to order one of those at the same time. So moving forward, as we come back into G5, it would be great if you all had your own lacrosse ball to do some of this work on the fascia release. So today's session is going to be quite a long one. It's around 25 to 30 minutes. So hopefully you will get to do this at least a couple of times a week. We're going to work primarily on the lower part of the body, first of all, with the feet, moving up into the calves and ankles, hip flexors, glutes and hamstrings. And then we'll move into some mobility for those areas and finish with some shoulder stretching. First of all, I want to perform a little test with you guys. So all I need you to do is stand tall on your mats with your feet shoulder width distance apart, and without any bending of the legs at all I want you to do is forward fold and just see where your hamstrings allow you to get to without bending the legs. So right now I'm feeling quite tight in the back of the leg, so I'm about 2 to 3 inches off the floor, which is probably quite normal for me first thing in the morning. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the lacrosse ball and we're going to release it, the feet. So socks and shoes off, starting with one foot and just rolling the ball up and down the foot. Fairly firm pressure here on this ball rolling, and just finding the squidgy soft part of the centre of the foot first of all. Lateral movement side to side, forward and back on this ball. Then we're going to work up towards the toe area and try and get the toes, the ball in between the bony part of the toes, separating the toes. If this is easier with the heel down, just pop the heel onto the floor and don't be shy with the pressure here. Nice firm pressure on each of those bony parts, big toe, moving down towards the little toes at the side, spreading the ball in between the toes. Now we're going to move towards the heel, so getting into the bony part of the heel, and again, really trying to apply some firm pressure. Then I want you to pop the heel on the ground and just press the knee forward over the toes as you press the base of your foot into that lacrosse ball. This will feel a little bit sore and a little bit uncomfortable. That's fine, that's normal. Move that ball around and just press and apply firm pressure. I want you to really work into the fascia of the feet for around 2 minutes minimum of each foot. So moving over to the other foot, exactly the same, waking up all the muscles. So the fascia, this is self-treating fascia. It's not possible to do this work with stretching or with foam rolling, so it's really important. And if the restricted fascia is tight, could cause you a problem all the way through the body. So it does have quite a large impact. So if you feel that the balls of the feet and that soft part of the feet is feeling tight and uncomfortable, then that's telling you there is a restriction and then need a little bit more work on them. So start of every session you do, or finding some time during your week to do this work on the bottom of the feet. So 2 minutes of work on each foot, heel down and pressing into that foot at the same time as pushing the knee forward, and just move the ball a little bit somewhere different, finding and looking for that tightness and those hot spots. Once you've done your 2 minutes on each foot, let's retest that flexibility and range of movement through the hamstrings. So, big deep breath. Now I am able to touch the mat, and that isn't trickery and it isn't magic. It literally is just releasing all the tension from the base of the feet around the toes and the heels. So that just proves hopefully how important and how effective releasing the fascia is under your feet. So that is the first area that I want you to work, is your feet. So we're going to come down into the mat now, and area number 2 is the shin area. So starting off just below the knee and putting that ball underneath the shin and just running down towards the ankles, and at the same time I'm keeping my foot off the mat and I'm flexing and extending the foot at the same time as working that ball into the shin. Now, for those of you who do a lot of running, for those of you that find double unders give you calf or Achilles problems, or if you've had or suffered from shin splints, then this is so important for you, and I'm telling you it's going to be tight. If it is tight, if it is sore, then it needs your attention. So just working that ball down the shin all the time. I'm flexing and extending my foot, waking up the fascia and muscles and tendons down the front of the leg. As I come close towards the ankle, the foot's going to hit the ground, so I'm just going to switch to side motions with my foot and ankle, and come all the way down towards the ankle bone. And it might be a little bit sorer towards the ankle bone, around that ankle. Get in there, find those bony bits, applying as much pressure as you can. If you found any hot spots on the way down this leg, then go back, revisit them, pressing all the way up through the front of the shin. Okay, so repeating the same work on the shin on the other leg. I'm not going to do that now because I want to take you through a couple of the other parts of the body, but again spending another few minutes on the right hand side of the body. So area number 3 are your calf muscles, and again, for those of you that are struggling at the moment with some lower leg tightness and tension, the calf muscles are going to be a great area for you to release with the ball. So we're starting right at the bottom of the ankle and working all the way up towards the knee, pressing as much pressure in. Great for you to spend even more time on these areas if you have these hot spots, double unders, running, jumping, rebounding movements. Maybe have your ball in front of the TV in the evening and just working into those calves. And if you've got really big tight calves, then again, you're going to need a little bit more work in this area. So also, while we're here, I want to focus a little bit of time on the perennial muscle groups. They're the muscles and tendons at the side of the leg, and these ones can cause a bit of a problem for runners. They are the responsible tendons and muscles for the dorsiflexion and plantar flexion of the feet. So you may find that the side of the leg in particular is sore and tight, so spend a bit of time rolling that ball through those areas. And there's a little bony area just behind at the back of the knee at the top of those that I find particularly nippy, but again, so important, get inside there. Just hold and apply pressure onto the top of that area behind the knee. And if it's sore, don't avoid it. In fact, work it more. So again, you're going to work onto the other calf. So feet, shins and calves ticked off. Here we now go into our glutes and hamstrings. So these might be really tight for those of you that are spending a bit of time sitting. So I'm going to ask you just to sit your right bum cheek onto that ball and move it around your butt, looking for those hot spots. Try not to tense the glute. Try not to hold your breath and wince. Just allow the glute to fold around the ball. Keep breathing relaxed and just press your weight in. It's going to feel a little bit cheeky, particularly around the piriformis area. And then find that coccyx. And if you can find the coccyx, just spend a little bit of time working around there. Find your pelvis. It's like putting the ball in your pockets. So I'm working around the pelvis and then coming into the side of the hip. Again, this can be a little bit of a nippy area. Getting into the side of the hip. And when you're here, see if you can rotate the joint, the foot, move the leg as you're pressing the ball into your butt cheek. Just find where it works for you, where those hot spots are. This is pretty sore for me. Just keep working that ball in. Okay, good. So, again, you'd work onto the other side, and you can finish by coming over onto the hip flexor. So just in that front pocket, like you've put the ball in the front pocket. And just finish with a little bit of work in your hip flexors. Okay, so grab yourself a ball of Amazon if you don't have one. Add that to your daily routine. And as I said, especially for those of you that are struggling at the moment with the lower leg areas. So we're going to move on to some movement now. Let's do some stretching now. We've released off through the ball. So starting off in that lunge position, just keep looking forward and just stretching through the lunge and opening up the back leg and feeling that knee travel over the front of the toes, at the same time working through the hip flexor of the back leg, and just a little bit of movement rocking forward and back into that lunge stretch. So we start to open up at the hips, working through that lunge position. While we're here, let's revisit that hamstring stretch that we did last week, and all we need to do is keep the leg straight, lift the toe up. Remember, we're going to lead from the chest. You don't need much of an angle, and then as soon as you feel the stretch in the hamstring, just hold that position. At the moment the toe is up, and then keeping the stretch, just turn the foot out and feel it pinch on that little bit of sciatic nerve. And that hamstring stretch as the toe comes out, bring the toe back up, reset, just go one more time towards the thigh of the chest, and then turning the toe out. Okay, this time we're going to develop our lunge. Remember that last week when we opened up the hip by pushing the knee out. So start by squeezing that knee out to the side, keeping the foot bolted to the mat, heel and down, and just pressing the knee out to the side. And then just taking the arm, same arm as the front knee, up and over and across to the other side of your mat, and just keep pressing that knee out to the side. And if you can put your forearm and elbow onto the mat here, then great. I can't. But if you can, add a little bit more, and all pushing that knee out to the side. Holding in this position, and then Releasing back up and over. While we're here, we'll take an extended hamstring stretch, so it's like a half down dog position. Straighten the legs and then pressing through. Feeling a nice stretch, straight leg through the back of the hamstring. Good, and release. Taking the other knee through, starting off with that regular lunge and just the forward movement, pressing the knee over the front of the toes, holding into this stretch. If you've got a weight, you can add it onto the front of the knee, just pushing forward here. Bringing into that hamstring stretch, toe up, leading with the chest. When you hold the stretch, just turn the toe out. That adds a little bit of a different dimension onto that hamstring stretch. You can spend a bit more time there, but this next one, remember, foot down, pressing the knee out, keeping the foot bolted, squeezing my knee out. Take the same arm up, over the top, and reaching across the mat as the knee presses out. Don't let the foot leave the mat. Don't lift the heel. And then from there, lifting into hamstring stretch. Straight legs. We're going to visit the plank position. So just come long on your mat into that nice long plank, push-up position plank. And from here, taking that first leg across the mat and pressing into what looks like pigeon, but keeping a kneeling position, so we're not pressing the butt down towards the other leg. In actual fact, I'm using my elbows to just squeeze and open through this side glute and hip as I lift the hips up towards the sky, back knee on the mat. Just hold that position there. We're going to develop this stretch by trying to bring the front foot across the mat and then twisting across here. So it doesn't matter if your hip is off the mat, what you want is the shin square to the front of the mat, the foot is bolted and twisting, and if you can, drop on to those elbows here. Breathing into that stretch in the hip. Come back across and back through to plank position, and then repeat that on the other side. So the knee is down and we just stretch through the front hip and glute. Keeping up in that upward pigeon, kneeling pigeon position. If that's not enough, then you can maybe drop the arms onto the mat, but keep your hips high. Again, developing that one with the shin coming square to the front now. And then twisting in towards that front knee. Have a check, make sure the foot and the shin is across the front of the mat. And just twist. You don't need much. When you've worked on the hips, come back through to plank, and then we're going to visit cat-camel. So you've done these before. Big lift through the upper back, separate the shoulder blades, tuck the chin in. Transitioning through, lifting the pelvis, dropping the belly button to the ground and trying to get as much length and circle into that lower lumbar spine. Couple of times here. and then toes under. Let's take a little down dog, stretch, looking through the legs, pressing from the hands, chest coming through to thighs, squeezing your heels close into your mat from the tiptoes, all the way down into the heels, lifting up and down. Back through plank, knees come to mat, and we'll take a shoulder stretch, so press the shoulder onto the mat and just press your body, your chest into the bicep. Give some stretch onto that shoulder. Same on the other arm. Put it underneath. I would like the whole shoulder to be contacting the mat. And press your weight in and feeling a good stretch around the top of the shoulder, the bicep. And finally, just finishing with Cobra. So lying down, turn the toes, and try and get a nice stretch through the abs, lifting the spine, each vertebrae unfolding, and then rolling up. After that, getting as much circle in the spine as you can. Into child's pose. Rest your head onto the mat and breathe. Thank you.